Brought to you by Penguin.
Sexton Blake's New Order by Mark Hodder. Read by Colin Mace. Baker Street, London.
"I used to advertise you,"
Mrs. Bardell said, as I entered the Blake residence, which, from the outside, didn't resemble a residence at all.
"that Mr. Blake proffers his apologists, owing to it being that he is called away by an adenoidal circumference."
I hung up my coat, thought for a moment, then ventured, "Unavoidable circumstance?"
"Are you miscorrecting me, young man?"
She had a twinkle in her eye. "Most certainly not."
"He'll see you upstairs in the insulting room."
What? He wasn't here, but he was upstairs, as if her malapropisms weren't sufficiently confusing. But if he's not here," I stammered.
"Not him," she snapped. "Off you go."
So bewildered, I left Sexton Blake's landlady, ascended the stairs, and knocked on the consulting room door.
"Come in,"
a voice called. I entered. Pedro the bloodhound was sitting on the hearthrug. A young man standing beside him greeted me.
"Hello. We meet at last."
A microsecond before crying out, "Tinker," I managed to redirect my tongue. "Mr. Carter."
"In the beautiful flesh,"
Edward Tinker Carter confessed. He lightly kicked the armchair that I had occupied for the past 4 interviews to indicate that I should resume the position. I did. He settled into the one opposite.
"Sorry,"
he said.
"the governor's up to his neck in it, so you'll have to make do with me. And, well done, by the way."
"For what?" I asked.
"I wagered Mrs. B a £5 that you'd call me Tinker the moment you saw me."
I was on the absolute brink of it. He grinned.
"I really don't mind it as much as some of those later authors made out, even if the governor suggested otherwise."
He did. They were trying to modernise you, I suppose.
Much to the disgust of the older readers.
There it was. The question of age. Tinker, I struggled to think of him as Carter, appeared to be, at most, 24. He had blonde and somewhat curly hair, blue eyes, a snub nose, an infectious grin, and a boyish sprinkling of freckles across his nose. Handsome and friendly, exactly what a Sexton Blake reader would expect. He had first appeared in the published stories as a streetwise urchin, 10 years old or thereabouts, in 1904. By the First World War, he was in his mid-teens. Now, in the 21st century, he was in his early 20s, just as he'd been described in the 1960s. Plainly, it was impossible. I, however, had met and chatted with Sexton Blake. The impossible was fast becoming familiar. Tinker reached out and fondled Pedro's ear.
"The New Order is the subject of the day, I believe?"
Straight to business. "Yes," I responded. "Mr. Blake and I have talked through the decades and reached the 50s. I opened my briefcase and took out a binder and my notepad. Tinker said,
"All right. Fire away, old thing."
I consulted my notes. Let's see. The Sexton Blake Library had been going since 1915. In 1925, after issue 382, it reverted to number 1, beginning what came to be known as the second series. 744 issues later, the same thing happened again, beginning the third series. That continued until issue 526 in 1963. However, issue 359, entitled Frightened Lady, brought so many changes with it that Blake aficionados call that one onwards the 4th series, which they also dubbed the New Order.
"Uh-huh,"
Tinker agreed. It's generally accepted that the new editor of the library, W. Howard Baker, shook it up in response to falling sales.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?